What is up, Laker fans? This is Daniel Beltz with King Watch LA. We're going to be joined by TBJ later in the episode, but today is...
Oh, no, I'm here. I'm here.
You're here now?
I'm here now. I'm just on my balcony.
So we're basically going to be talking a lot about... it's going to be probably a heavy LeBron-centered episode, basically, since he's going to be out for the next month, it looks like, and what that means for the MVP races, what it means for the Lakers... Can they survive without both LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and what it means going forward as a 36-year-old who is now dealing with a high ankle sprain? And we've seen, I don't know, maybe Father Time's finally catching up. It was kind of a dirty, not a dirty play, but it was a non-basketball kind of play.
No, it wasn't. Come on, man. We got to stop this.
I'm just gonna say
that was a non diving for the basketball for a loose ball was a non-basketball play.
It was in LeBron's hands, man. It was in LeBron's hands.
You Lakers fans. You Lakers fans, man.
Why are we in a regular season game? Why are we going at people's
in a regular season game? Why are we playing hard? That's basically what you're saying.
I'm saying why are we diving for a loose, not even a loose ball, but why are we diving at someone's legs? Like in the playoffs, I get it, but I'm just like, dude, what are we doing here? Why is Solomon Hill diving on the floor?
That's funny as hell.
Solomon Hill's like 30-something. If it was a young player, I get it. It's Solomon Hill. Like, what are you doing, dog?
I'm crying, dog. That is hilarious. Yes, it's Solomon Hill. That's exactly why. He got to hustle.
That man's like 30. Like, relax. Just go in the corner, shoot threes, and play some defense sometimes.
See, this is my problem with you Lakers fans, because I also saw y'all celebrate when my man's Wardell got hurt and Clay got hurt, but I see Lakers fans talking all of this Laker pain now that y'all injured. Y'all weren't being so forgiving to other people.
I've never celebrated Klay Thompson getting injured. He's a son of a Laker.
I didn't say you. I said Laker fans.
Hey, some Laker fans are nuts. Like we have some of the most nutty, I'd say, fan bases, but like we also have like really good people in the fan base. I think every fan base kind of has that, you know. They have some good ones, they have some crazy ones.
All right, man. But overall, I mean, what were you watching that game live? Did you see it live?
I didn't watch shit yesterday. I'm not gonna watch a Laker game that starts at 12.
He was in Smackville yesterday. That's what he was in Smackville getting lit.
I think every Laker fan knows never to watch a game at 12 o'clock.
Why?
Because both the Lakers and Clippers, they do not do well at games that start at noon in LA.
They don't. I'm glad you said the Clippers too, so that way when they play bad in the playoffs around a 12 o'clock game, and when you say that, I'm gonna send you this clip and be like, I don't remember when you said that, Daniel? Do you remember when you said that, buddy?
It's just I don't get why the NBA wants to force LA games that start at 12 in the afternoon, but it is what it is. Like you have to kind of appease Adam Silver's plan of playing 5 games in 7 days. I don't get that we wanted to play.
Them 5 games in 7 days is wild, bro. Like, what is wrong with y'all?
And that's not even the only streak that's going to happen. If you look at the April schedule, our April schedule is nuts. We don't have more than a game or a day off in between games, I believe, the entire month.
Really, that's crazy.
And I'm wondering why Adam Silver has this thing where he wants to force the season to happen before the Olympics get started. That's why it started on Christmas. That's why it's ending on July 22nd. The Olympics are supposed to start July 23rd.
Do you blame him? That's an honest question.
Yes, because you could almost send, I wouldn't say G Leaguers to the Olympics, and they might do well, but
you're hilarious, bro.
But at that point, you can send the players that are on the non-playoff teams to the Olympics while the playoffs can still happen. I don't get why we moved up the season to kind of, I don't know, appease the Olympics when they might not even happen. They haven't been officially canceled yet, but we've heard talks that it might be that they've already made the decision. They're just not making it public. But
yeah,
I don't get it. You watched the Lakers and Heat play very late into October. You saw like the Nuggets, and I don't remember the Eastern Conference team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals. I know it was the Heat.
You don't remember the Bucks?
They didn't make the conference finals.
Oh yeah, they did lose the second round. It was the Heat Celtics, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't pay attention to that team.
Okay. I get it now. That was a point of slander. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And so you forgetting when they tried that and the U.S. got smacked. Exactly. They definitely did try it, and we definitely did get our ass laid the fuck out.
Well, let's see. Was Zach LaVine playing?
No.
Because I don't know if the Bulls will make the playoffs. He could be your best player on a Team USA team, and I think can come away with gold.
And they're not getting Zach LaVine going to be the best player on the team that's going to get gold. You're lying. Get out of here.
Because then you have to
get out of here. Why are you always on that, G?
You have to think Luka is probably going to be not playing in the Olympics because he'll be in the playoffs. Like if this was going to happen, how I thought it would happen.
All these guys are going to play in the playoffs, bro. I mean, going to play in the Olympics, especially the ones that's from other countries.
It's just it seems forced into rushing that.
It ain't forced, man. They just want to. Everybody trying to get their money, and that's just what it all boils down to. We not ready to just accept the fact that they just want their motherfucking money.
They do.
LeBron wanted his motherfucking money. That's why they came back and played through all of COVID and all of that, and they could slap HBCU and all that shit on the court. I don't give a fuck. That means nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing to me. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about the money, bro. And when we finally all accept that it's just always been about the money, like Kawhi said, Kawhi literally said, I don't think we should be playing the All-Star game, but clearly this entire season, everything that we've been doing, it's about the money. So I'm not gonna act like I'm surprised. It's about the money.
Yeah, but at some point, if you're
Olympics, about the money, advertising.
If you're having all these players play, like to me, it seems like this season has been continued since October 2019. I feel like the NBA season for the Lakers at least
never really say that though. You can't really say that though. It's not a continuation because there were no non-playoff teams there. Like we got different teams this year that's stepping up, that's doing different shit. Like the Bulls, like the Hawks. They are playing better since they fired Lloyd Pierce. So I think we wouldn't even got a chance to see them. We wouldn't even got a chance to see Steph Curry this year if it was a continuation. It's a new season. It's just there was no fucking real break for the guys that played, which has been my biggest issue for the whole time. And I've said this numerous times. Like I just had my newborn October 25th. Lakers won the championship on the 12th. The season started back on the 22nd. And because we got this fucking media company, guess who started back work on the 22nd? This guy. You know what I mean? Less than 2 months after having a baby. So all of these guys are under a lot amount of stress, a lot amount of different things that are going on. But at the end of the day, they got families to feed and they want that motherfucking check. So the Olympics gonna happen because they want that motherfucking check. LeBron gonna limp his ass out there to the Olympics and probably like, this might be my last. I'm probably gonna say this is my last Olympic run. You know what I mean? Like all of these, it's all building up to like get rid of this generation of older athletes that are past the mantle. Which is why, like I said, LeBron shit was done 3 years ago because I thought that literally it was time for new blood, a new whatever to come. And obviously LeBron is LeBron, and that's what that is.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit about LeBron James's injury and like what that means for not only him, but like for his MVP case, for his Defensive Player of the Year case, which I always thought him getting Defensive Player of the Year, that was a stretch, but should he be on an all defensive team this year? I don't think so. I thought he should have made the second team all defense last year.
No, a second team I'm not mad at.
And like there's a case for him to be first since a lot of the defensive metrics when he's on the court, the Lakers do well. I don't want to look at defensive metrics. I just want to see what the Lakers kind of look like with just the eye test kind of. Stats are cool. It's just like kind of the eye test is what I want to kind of like base awards by and like without like narratives. We just happen to kind of keep a team without Anthony Davis in the top 5 for defense, and that's pretty damn tough to do, especially when you're losing a Defensive Player of the Year type caliber player, and the Lakers were able to do that. I mean, even last night, LeBron goes out, and this Laker team still kind of holds the Hawks under 100 points, so I don't know. This injury is going to mean a lot for the Los Angeles Lakers because we're only, I believe, 3 or 4 games ahead of the 7th or 8th seed. And our next 10 games are pretty tough. And what this means for LeBron James's MVP race is I don't think this month there's like 13 games within that we're going to be playing. So I don't think you can afford to miss 13 games and still win the MVP race. So if he's out for a month or an extended longer period of time, I think that kind of case is over. That's why I think Jokic's case for MVP is kind of not Jokic. Embiid's case is done.
Embiid's case ain't done. How is Embiid's case?
He's gonna miss. I think there was a tweet where I think 11 plus games is the most MVP ever missed that still got the award.
Okay. It is a short season, yeah. So short season too.
If he misses, I think the amount of time that he's supposed to miss, I don't think Embiid should definitely be up there. I just think the games missed will kind of be like a disqualifier. And
yeah, they also been playing very well without him and Ben.
Yep. That Sixers team is tough. That's why a lot of people think the Sixers do have a kind of case against the Brooklyn Nets.
Doc Rivers team.
Yeah, but we all know how Doc Rivers teams get coached in the playoffs.
Yeah, but we also got to stop acting like.
Oh, it's also never just.
This 76ers team might be the most complete team Doc has ever had, Celtics included, complete front to back. They have multiple options at literally every single position, including center. Because Dwight coming off the bench or playing less than his normal whatever whoop is still a benefit.
Korkmaz, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he's been hooping. Like every time I watch a Sixer game, he seems to either make a timely shot or
Korkmaz,
he seems to be doing well. I don't know how Danny Green's been doing. It seems pretty up and down. And what we drinking?
Beta Mardi Gras Bach brewed in Abita Springs, Louisiana. 6.5%. Don't drink a draft kit.
And it just seems like, that Sixer team is pretty stacked. You have Embiid and Ben Simmons who can play well together. Tobias Harris is playing very well. We got
a hot take purveyor in here.
We got Vibe Drexler in the building.
Drexler in the building. Vibing out. You hungover too, Pavy?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I was just plastered to my bed, about to drink my probiotic right now. And yeah, I'm good. I know what we're talking about. I actually watched that game, and when LeBron I thought it was his knee at first. I was like, oh my God, not his knee. Then I was ankle. I was like, oh, okay, that's a little bit better. Then he stayed in, hit the three, and I was like, you're limping, bro. Sit down. Then when they said it was a high ankle sprain, I was in like the group chat arguing with the homies. It was like, oh, I'm like, nah, bro, like a high ankle sprain, that's not healing for like a month or two. And AD already out. Then also with bringing him back, obviously you don't want to, he's older. He's 36 now. You don't just want to just throw him back on the court and play him 35 minutes after that. Like that's not cool. You really got to be careful with that. So yeah, it hurt my heart, man. I was like, damn, Bron hurt. Like Bron actually hurt, bro. Again, I've only seen Bron actually hurt twice, and the first time didn't exactly look like that. I was like, oh, he really hurt.
Yeah. He is.
Like,
he is, and that's mad unfortunate, to be honest, because like I swear to God, I was literally having that conversation with Glasses Malone the other day. I was like, yo, like Lakers fans talking all this shit about MVP and stuff. Bron been logging a lot of minutes. The one thing I literally told Glass, said the one thing I do not want to see is LeBron getting hurt. And he kind of laughed, and I'm like, no, I'm for real. I don't want to see LeBron getting hurt. Because then that means everybody gonna do is be like, well, LeBron should have been the MVP, but he got hurt, and then they gonna diminish everything everybody else did. So I'm crying at Pavy. Literally, I took a thumbnail. Pavy drinking
probiotic, bro. Probiotics. Gut health is essential.
I'm crying, bro. So you think they got no chance though, Pavy?
I wouldn't say no chance. It's just like, again, the reason why everyone's like, oh, how could you pick? The reason why I picked the Jazz because I think they have the most I think they can beat any team in the West outside of a healthy Lakers team. But I just don't foresee a healthy Lakers team. Like, I don't really understand how that comes to fruition. AD has a lower extremity injury. It's not your literal Achilles muscle, but it's a muscle around Achilles. You have to be careful with that. Also,
put your camera down a little bit, Pavy.
You have to be careful with that. Also, with the fact of, I remember when Bron was on a road trip podcast, and he said AD's heel was black in the bubble. Black. He said his heel was literally black. Excuse me. They got 72 days off. I don't really know how that heals up, and he just comes out here and plays like Anthony Davis again. And even when AD was on the court, he didn't look the same. Like, he was still playing well at like a very high level. But I remember even tweeting like maybe a month before or 2 weeks before the actual injury, like, yo, was AD okay? Because the way he was just moving, it just wasn't right. Yeah. And then now Bron has a high ankle sprain as well. I don't know how they just pop up and just be okay in the playoffs. I don't really understand how they're at one. Now, maybe it can't happen. I don't know. Maybe it can't happen. I don't know how they just pop up and just become 100% in the playoffs. So Yeah.
So I do think the Lakers can turn on the switch in the playoffs. We saw it last season after the 3-month layoff where they didn't play games and then they came back in the bubble. They didn't really try at all in the first 8 games, and then once playoffs happened, they kind of flipped the switch. I do think LeBron James, yes, the high ankle sprain sucks, and he's going to be kind of hurt probably, I guess, the rest of the season because those never really like fully recover unless you have like a lot of time off. Because the side effects of that it depends on what grade it is. If it's a grade 2, much more severe, but if it's grade 1, it'll be all right. But what's it called? I think him getting hurt may be a blessing because it forces him to sit because he has a chance to be at least somewhat rested. It sucks that it had to come off of an injury. Like we would have preferred him to get 2 or 3 weeks off with actual rest, like planned rest, instead of like being forced to sit out because of an injury. But I don't know, maybe being out for a month kind of saves his legs while he gets to just like recuperate for a little bit. You just never want it to come off of an injury, and that's why it sucks. Especially, it was kind of like a freak collision with someone just kind of like going at his ankle. But yeah,
I mean, like if it was a finger injury, a shoulder injury, I would be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when it's injuries to your lower extremities as a basketball player, you got to run, jump.
Yeah.
I can't really say it's rest. Like it's really rehab. Like, yeah, you're rest, but at the same time, like can you even run on the treadmill?
No.
For real. Like, yeah, you can't even do stuff to actually stay in shape. If it's you break your finger, I mean, you can still do everything that you want to do.
Daniel, I know you're a runner, or you were a runner, like a long. Like, have you ever had a high ankle sprain?
Yeah.
And what's that like?
It's not fun because you can't really do anything. You just had to like just chill. You could kind of do some like in the water work, like in the pool, but that's about it. Maybe he does like some zero gravity running on the treadmill. We'll see like what he does, but it can preserve like some of his legs. But I think when LeBron James comes back, we're going to see a lot less dunking. We're going to see him play like a lot. Like I want to say below the rim, if that makes sense. You heard Kobe kind of speak at the end of his career. Like he kind of savored a lot of his dunks. Like he kind of down. I probably only got like 30 like crazy dunks left in my career.
That's hilarious.
This is how I'm gonna like do this. I think LeBron's a little more cautious with like how he jumps, where he jumps in the regular season for the rest of the season. Playoffs, I think he'll turn it on, but I think when he does come back, he's gonna coast even more so than he already has. We've seen LeBron James coast a lot this season. When Dennis Schroeder gets the ball on one side of the floor, you see LeBron just stand there at the top of the key and not really do anything for 20 seconds because he's learning how to play at 36 and kind of like take plays off even though he's playing high minutes this season, he's learned how to play.
I'm gonna keep it with you. Bron been doing that for like 7 years, bro. Bron used to give Kyrie the ball, walk to the other side of the court, and look at that man do whatever he wanted to do for multiple minutes at a time and multiple plays and possessions. He's been doing that for a minute, but I feel you.
And last season he kind of did it less because we didn't have another shot creator outside of, I believe, Rondo on the second unit. Because yes, we can dump the ball into Anthony Davis in the post, but outside of that, there really wasn't much scoring on the team. Kyle Kuzma wasn't playing like this last season. Kyle Kuzma's turned into an actual NBA player, like I think a complete NBA player, whereas rookie year Kuz, second year Kuz was just points. Now I believe fourth, fifth year Kuz, like you can kind of see him play defense. He's learned how to play without the ball, and that's something Laker fans didn't know if he was going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And now he's learned how to play without the basketball.
I'm going to say this. I said Kuzma is better than Ingram a couple years ago, and y'all laughed at me. If there is ever a time for him to prove his value and his worth, now is the time. LeBron said before the season that Kuzma was going to have a very, very, very big year and a breakout season. I want to see that now. I think with LeBron and AD gone, Kuzma should be averaging 24 a game, and he should be taking at least 18 to 19 shots a game.
He's not going to average 24 points, but I feel you.
I don't care. He needs to take 18 shots a game, and if he could take 18 shots a game, he should be able to give you over 20 to 24.
He's not going to average 24 points.
All right, he averaged 18. Wouldn't he average 18.7 as a rookie on like 13 shots? Yes, he can.
And normally when he starts games, I believe he scores about 19 points a game. So I think 18 to 19 is like his wheelhouse. Dennis Schroeder, I think, will have to be a 20-plus point game scorer. Montrezl Harrell will have to give you 20-plus. Montrezl Harrell can get you 20-plus easily, so I think that's not too crazy. But Dennis Schroeder definitely has to get you 20-plus points a game for this Laker team to kind of stay afloat. We're going to need more from KCP. KCP had a historic playoff run last year, but this season he's kind of been underwhelming. Kind of
Yeah, he's just kind of been out there.
Yeah. And he plays through a lot of tweaks. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but he seems to tweak his ankle almost every game. And it's always off of a transition layup that he just doesn't know how to come down correctly on.
I haven't watched as much Lakers basketball this year, but even yesterday when I was watching them, one thing that will save them a little bit is the fact that they can still defend. Yep. Like, they didn't just get destroyed when LeBron went out. And Atlanta isn't a great team, but they have their guys back. They're a solid basketball team. Yep. Like, they were still in the game. Mm-hmm. They're gonna struggle to score points. I mean, they struggled to score points when Bron was there. Yep. Honestly, like I think on the broadcast they said like every possession goes late in the shot clock, and I'm noticing like they really are getting shots up with like 2 seconds left on the clock. Now, if they want to do that, then that's the offense that they want to run, and whatever. That's just what they want to do. But it just looked like to me their offense struggled regardless. Yep. Now that Bron is out there, I think their offense is going to struggle even more. But the one thing that can save them and be a little bit of a saving grace is that they can still defend. Yep. I think that the Lakers are a defensive basketball team regardless, and they can still defend. So they'll still be in a lot of games. It just remains to be seen how many of them that they'll actually win. So.
Yeah, with no Anthony Davis and LeBron played 10 minutes last night, the Lakers still held the Hawks under 100 points. And like there wasn't a stretch where it was like a blowout. They were always in the game. They can't score without LeBron. I believe the start of the third quarter, the Lakers didn't score for the first 6 minutes while the Hawks scored like 9 points. But like they were still able to be in the game because the Hawks only scored 9.
9 points, yeah.
So they will struggle. This will be kind of a moment where THT can kind of get more reps, get more NBA experience because he's going to be asked to create for others. He's one of the only players besides Dennis on this team that can create for someone else. So we'll see what that means for him. Maybe he gets more confident.
Didn't we have a talk about THT? And I told you that you got to let him get his bumps and his bruises in because I told you that you would probably need him a little bit later on in the season. Remember we had that conversation about a month and a half ago? Yep. Daniel, it's come to fruition. That's also why, like I said, it's early. You guys aren't playing for a championship in the beginning of the season. Give that man the minutes. And now he's definitely going to need it because like we talked about, he's the only playmaker on his team, which also, if I'm them, I don't really know what they can do in terms of roster construction to kind of help them out. I think they are really just stuck with their other guys. What y'all think?
Also, they really have issues rebounding.
They do.
Like, it was possessions with Capella. Now, obviously, John Collins is a good rebounder. Capella's a good reading about it, but they was looking like 91 Dennis Rodman. Like, Trez, like, I think the Lakers went from now this remains to be seen if it actually really even matters. I think they went from a big team to a small team. Like, they're not that big anymore. Trez is like 6'8". So even on he plays, hard, he's physical and he's energetic, but there's still realistically only so much he can do. And you take Bron away now, I don't know what he was averaging, 7-8 rebounds a game?
8 rebounds, yeah.
That's 8 boards a game that you just took away from a team that's already kind of small. So I also think rebounding might be an issue for the Lakers as we go forward as well.
Yeah, AD's kind of been – when he played, he was on one leg basically, and he's already missed half the season. That's kind of why our rebounding numbers are down. Marcus Gasol's also been out for a little bit. We just struggle to rebound, and we also aren't picking up Damian Jones's 10-day contract.
I saw that.
Yeah, so shout out to the homie Teddy Hart. He posted in here. He said, I think it should be coming up in a second. Shout out to you for the donation. He said, if LBJ and Embiid don't win MVP due to injury, who y'all have winning the MVP between Jokic, Dame, Giannis, or Harden? Personally, he said he hopes Dame gets it. What do you think about that?
If I had a vote, I'd vote for Dame because he's the only player, in my opinion, that's done. Because I would have LeBron James as my MVP. LeBron James is going to miss too many games now for that to be to happen. Dame has done what LeBron James has also done. Dame has had his co-star and his a third starter be out for almost the entire season, and the Portland Trailblazers are still 6th seed, 5th seed.
Yeah,
and he's just playing, I think, the best basketball of his career. He's learned how to. I see a lot of games where he's like 30 and 10, and for Dame to get 10 assists, that's amazing. I also think. At this stage of his career, Carmelo Anthony playing with Damian Lillard kind of saved his career just because Dame's going to attract 2 people and Melo can definitely beat anyone kind of one-on-one. So I think if you can get Melo into that situation, Dame is the best thing for Melo, I think, to ever happen to him at this stage of his career. So I'm just, all things considered, I have to give it to Dame.
The answer is Harden but I don't think nobody's going to vote for James Harden because of the fact he went to the Nets. And you look at the Nets and the star power that they have, I don't think anybody's going to vote for Harden. So with thinking that nobody's going to vote for Harden, I'm going to say Jokic. I think Jokic has been playing, but the thing with the Nuggets is I don't know if the Nuggets are going to win enough games for people to give him the MVP award. But I think Jokic has all season been the best player in the league. He's been the best big in the league. I mean, he's averaging 26, 11, and 8 for a guy his size. That's incredible and that's crazy. And I think Jokic has been playing the best basketball. I just don't know if Denver is going to win enough games that people will give him that award. But I'm gonna say Jokic.
And that's why I kind of have Dame over Jokic, because if they're similar records, I'm going to give it to Dame. If Denver kind of takes a leap, then I'd give it to Jokic as well.
That's fair. But
yeah, what about you, TP?
Sorry. Well, me personally, I'm gonna take Jokic. I think Glasses sent me and Pavi a graphic yesterday. He texted to us. Actually, I'm gonna try to put it up on the screen in a second. Glasses Malone yesterday, and literally Jokic had topped LeBron in every single category. Like it wasn't even close. And honestly, between Jokic and Embiid didn't have better numbers than Jokic either. So I think if this is going to come down to an injury-riddled season where we're really talking about whose numbers are or whatever, I gotta go with Jokic. I mean, Jokic has clearly to me been the best player in the NBA. I honestly never thought I would see a white center win MVP after 1980. But here we are, and I'm finna show the graphic real quick. This is the graphic that the homie Glasses Malone sent.
Okay, Jokic isn't American white. He's a foreigner.
Still,
a little bit different.
Still. But do you see this graphic, Daniel? Do you see this graphic?
I'm not trying to look at spreadsheets.
Look at the graphic. Look at the graphics. It's not a spreadsheet, goddammit. Look at the graphics. Look at the damn graphics. Stop lying to me. That man is better. He's played better. He's been better the whole year. His problem has been Jamal Murray has not been Bubble Murray. He's been a bubble.
He's been getting pretty damn close though, right?
Huh?
I'm gonna look at his stats. I'm gonna look at his stats.
I don't care.
Jamal Murray has been.
Don't talk to me about the stats. I'm talking about effectiveness in terms of winning games. They have been closing games this year the way that they did last.
Jamal Murray has been Jamal Murray. I think that Jamal Murray and the bubble food people, like he was gonna come back this season and be goddamn Kyrie, and it's like he's not. Like people talk about them like they're two all-stars. There's one all-star. There's one all-NBA player, which is Jokic. Jamal Murray he's nice, but I also like the way that they're playing Jamal Murray now. I think I even tweeted last year they should try to get Chris Paul because they should more so put Jamal Murray at the 2. Even when I watched them come back on the Bulls, they basically had Campazzo actually being the point guard and had Jamal Murray at the 2 so he could really just like not think like, all right, bro, we know you want to score, just go out there and score. But yeah, like, and also they just lost so much on their roster. Like you lose Jeremy Grant, and you see what Jeremy Grant does when he goes to Detroit. Now, obviously, he's not going to be averaging 23 points in Denver because he's not going to get the opportunity. But the fact that he can leave and go somewhere else and average 23 shows you the quality of player that they had in him. And also Torrey Craig, who just fit really well in the system, and Mason Plumlee. So they lost 3 really important role players. And also Porter has been out. And Porter missed like a month with COVID. So they've just had a really, really weird season. But yes, I agree. Jokic, to me, has been playing the best basketball out of anybody all season. And look, I love Bron, but I'm sorry, LeBron was like 4th on my MVP like thing if I had to do it, bro. Like 4th or 5th.
As long as people had LeBron James in the race, that's all I like kind of like cared about. There's just people saying he's not even in the top 5 race, which I just kind of laughed at. Because how are the Lakers 28-13 with AD missing half a season?
He's in
because they had one of the easiest schedules to start the season.
He's in the listen.
You think he's in the easy schedule to start?
Listen. That doesn't matter. You still play the games, and you play the games to win, and they won the games. So by default, yeah, he's like 5th. But as far as having the best season, no, there are Kawhi's having a better season than Bron. Dame is. Harden is. Damn near PG is, honestly. Well, he was for a second. It tailed off a little bit, but he was for a second. Jokic and B, like there are other people having better seasons. But if we're doing MVP rankings, he's like 5th on my list. Yeah. I guess he's in the standings, but as far as like being the MVP, No. And I love LeBron.
Yeah.
But no. This season and last season, no. And again, I love LeBron. LeBron is my guy. But no, I have eyes.
Yeah. I guess Hard has been playing well and like really well in Brooklyn, and I think a chip run for him would mean a lot for his legacy, and not only like for overall legacy, but just this year's legacy. He received a lot of slander, a lot from me for going from Houston to Brooklyn, but he's played well. I do think once they get KD back, they should be the favorites coming out of the East, and I think Bruce Brown kind of makes that whole situation work. I think
I'll be real with you. I feel you about the Bruce Brown. I love Bruce Brown. But I'm going to be real with you about KD. You don't miss a month for a hamstring injury, and it's not serious. People just think that he just out there just chilling, and I don't necessarily share that same sentiment. If he was healthy, he would be on the court playing. So, to me, that spells a little bit of caution. Like, is he going to be there down the stretch? That's also why I had questions about the Nets. People say, oh, they don't need KD. Yes, they do. They need KD to get out the East. I've seen them play in person. With Harden and Kyrie, they have this tendency where they might be up 15, but give up a lead because they'll just get a ball to Kyrie and say ISO 6 straight times, and he actually might just miss 6 straight times. Yeah. Like he can make tough shots, but they're still all tough shots. So the thing with KD is he gonna be there? But yes, I agree with you on Bruce Brown. I think he's a guy, not to cut you off, but I think he's a guy on the Nets who actually does other stuff. Yeah. Like they have so many shooters, they have scorers, but like who's gonna do the other stuff? Who's gonna just cut? Who's gonna just play defense? Who's gonna dive on the floor and get balls? And Bruce Brown is, to me, that guy for that team, and I think he's a really important piece for them.
He reminds me of Andre Karolinko, just being able to do just a little bit of everything, and especially KD's hamstring. If they're gonna expect him to play the 4 or the 5 in the playoffs, if that hamstring's fucked, then I don't know how you can actually want him playing the 4 or 5 because that thing's gonna get hurt like pretty badly.
It's worse playing down though, because you gotta think you playing down. If you playing like the wing or you playing guard, that's actually more movement in playing guard or wing. So if you want to actually conserve him, you put him at the 4. But also the way KD just plays the game, even this, I'm like, yo, you falling a lot, bro. Like, and after not watching him play for a second, then watching him play again, it's like he plays the game dangerously at times, especially for a guy his size, which is why he's probably seen so many injuries. Like, I wish he played a little bit more in the mid-range. I wish they ran a little bit more plays from in the mid-range or posting up just to lessen the strain on his body. Like, he's coming up the court, shooting pull-up threes, dribbling all over the court. Like, yeah, he could do it, but that's a lot of strain on a 7-footer's body coming off of Achilles.
So do you think Andre Drummond is a Laker? Do you think that's in the foreseeable future? Do you think they can get him?
I hope. I mean, I don't know what Cleveland. First of all, for my fantasy team, I hope somebody get Andre Drummond. Play that man, bro. That man been out on my fantasy team for like 2 months. G, what y'all on? Play that man, bro. Somebody go get that man. Help me, bro. That man was giving me like 30 points a night. He ain't giving me nothing no more. But yes, I would have said I don't know why until I peeped the game yesterday. Especially if Bron's gonna be out for some time. You don't know when AD is gonna be healthy. You need to just get more size. Yep. And I think that Drummond gives you, especially if you don't like Damon Jones, Drummond gives you size. Yep. And Andre Drummond, I mean, look, man, the man still goes out there and gets you 15 and 15 in his sleep. He was averaging 17 and 13. I'm sure the Lakers can use 17 points and 13 rebounds.
Yeah, I've also heard
go ahead.
They might go after Boogie just based off of Damian Jones. I actually thought the Lakers should have brought him back. What he did well, he played well for us. He was a rim runner and just played defense, and that's all we asked from him. We might be looking for a center with both AD and Bron out to kind of score more. Damian Jones can't do that, and Andre Drummond struggles scoring around the rim. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I don't know why either, bro.
I saw that he's shooting below 50% from around the rim, which is nuts for a 7-footer. I don't know if I've ever seen that from a player that plays that much to only shoot below 50%.
Like, if Andre Drummond shot 55% or like 60%, he would be Moses Malone, literally. But he just doesn't, bro, and I don't know why. No, literally, he would be Moses Malone. He would be one of the greatest centers of all time if he just shot 60%.
Could you imagine if he shot like like Giannis or Gobert from like around the rim. Like Rudy
He's
is
one of the greatest of all time.
Rudy be like
60%.
65%, 69%. That would be insane.
Last year, Rudy shot 69% from the field.
Nuts, which is
almost 70% from the field.
That means he missed 3 buckets out of every 10. This man Drummond is making less than half.
Like, bro, if he literally could just have better touch, he would be Moses Malone. He would be literally one of the greatest centers to ever play the game of basketball. He gets 30 and 30 and he misses bunnies. Can you imagine if he made them?
Yeah, true. So where do you think the Lakers go from here as we get ready to kind of wrap it up? Like what's next? What do you think is what's next? What's next? What's next? Are there any moves to make? I mean,
we don't have.
Are there any moves to make? I mean, yeah, but you don't have any. I don't think you all have any tradable assets.
If they're gonna move on from Trez, they would trade him now. If they're gonna move on from Dennis, they would trade him now.
Well, they're not gonna move on from Dennis. I don't believe
they might.
They're both free agents at the end of the year, and Dennis wants 20+ mil. I don't know if the Lakers want to give him 20+ mil.
If they don't give him, then that means you're tanking. Then
no, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I think we actually own our pick this year.
It means you're tanking if you trade away Schroeder and then Trez.
No, if you trade away both of them, then yeah, but Schroeder might get dealt because of the fact Schroeder hasn't agreed to a deal. And Trez is probably easier to bring back than Schroeder is. Like, even when I do 2K simulations, Trez always ends up back with the Lakers for whatever reason. He usually ends up back with the Lakers. Schroeder always ends up somewhere else. So if you want to trade somebody, Schroeder would be the asset that you would want to trade because you may be able to get 2 players for Dennis Schroeder. And I'm personally not trying to pay Dennis Schroeder $20 million. I'm not doing that. I don't think he's that good.
I agree with that, especially for the foreseeable future.
I think he is that good. It's just he's too talented to have those careless amount of turnovers. Because at times it looks like he can't even like do a simple bounce pass to a guy in the post. And
that's why he's not a point guard.
But then the next 3 possessions, he's finishing around the rim like crazy and locking up the opposing point guard. So then I'm just like, okay, I'm back on the Dennis bandwagon. 4 minutes from now, he has another dumb turnover there. Like he seems to be the only person that can't throw LeBron a lob, and I don't get that.
He's like another Mo Williams, bro. He's like a Mo Williams, a Diet Kyrie. Like, he's the type of guard that you put next to Bron because Bron's going to be at the top of the key, usually dominating the ball. Schroeder's not like the reason why they traded him in Atlanta was because like you picked Schroeder to like build around. They tried it for that 1 year. They were god awful. They picked up Trey and was like, all right, Schroeder, we gonna holler at you, bro, because he's not a point guard like that. He's a scorer. He finishes around the rim and he's pesky on defense, and that's what he is. But I don't want to pay $20 million for that. I like that, but I don't want to pay $20 million for it a year for it.
But the Lakers are going to be over the cap regardless, so that's why they kind of would say we can't really replace that production. So that's why I think the Lakers would kind of be willing to spend that much. They just have to see something as either going to be the games without LeBron or a legendary postseason run, and I think they'd actually pay him if he does give you that. But you can't lose that production because you're going to be cheap with LeBron James being 37 and Anthony Davis being in the prime of his career. You need to show both AD and Bron that you're going to still surround them with talent and go for championships. You can't let $20 million go. You can't let Dennis go.
I mean, but then that goes back to what TP's saying about THT. Is that a guy who's going to – first of all, how good do you think he can be realistically, taking your Lakers cap off, just talking basketball? How good do you think Taylor Horton-Tucker can be?
I would say Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon averaged 24 before.
And I think THT could.
Okay.
It's just that might be on a shitty basketball team if you give him like the reins on like maybe say like the Wizards after they move Beal or whatever. But on the Laker team, I think THT can give you 13. If he's like a 6th man of the year type player. Okay. Maybe Diet Jordan Clarkson. Maybe that.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, if that's what you're getting and you may feel comfortable moving on to Schroeder. Like, yo, let me get this man some more minutes, give him some more run. I think he's a 2nd round pick. Yep. So his contract is like in the 800,000s, I think. Probably 800,000.
But the Lakers didn't pick up. It was either the 3rd or the 4th year. They only made like a 2-year contract. So I believe he's a free agent at the end of this season as well.
Okay. Well,
so they have to make decisions now about what they're going to be doing next year. So that's why that's why maybe they move on from some of the players they don't think they're going to keep for next season. But you have to get equal production now as well. Like, you can't look to the future. You're going to have to win basketball games now to kind of hold over from the LeBron James and AD being out for a month. We can't just ship off people hoping for next season. If we know they're not going to be 100% healthy AD wise, then maybe you shut down AD, get them back healthy for next season. So maybe you make a move like that, but I don't know.
But that next season thing, like LeBron 30, he's 36. You 36. He's 36, bro. Like, what next season? We don't even know what next season gonna look like.
Yeah.
Especially after one mode. I mean, it's not, it's not like a ACL, but still, like, injuries pile up and they tailed on and you lose something, even if it is, whatever. Especially when you get that old, when you have an injury, you lose something. So you don't even know what next year looks like. Like, no, it's today. Today and tomorrow is what the Lakers have to think about. Not no next year, not 2 years. No, today and tomorrow, in my opinion, when it comes to the Lakers.
And then, I don't know, Victor Oladipo's a name that's also been thrown around just because the Rockets might not re-sign him.
They're not re-signing Victor Oladipo.
So then, do you go trade for him now, or do people really think that Oladipo is going to the Heat?
You would have to trade Schroeder for him, though. That's the thing. You would have to trade Schroeder and probably KCP. I think Schroeder's deal was like $11 million or $12 million. KCP is getting $10 million. Yeah. So you would have to trade like Schroeder
to make the salary work.
Yeah, Schroeder and KCP, and then ask the Rockets to maybe give you some picks.
Yeah,
give me some type of first round compensation, protected if you want. But yeah, you would have to trade one of them. And with the way Oladipo has looked this year, it's like Oladipo wanted to be traded, and the way he's looked this year, he hasn't looked like all-star Oladipo, and really since the injury. So it's like, am I even convinced to trade for that man?
And I do think the Lakers have enough right now to kind of weather the storm. They're not going to win. They're not going to be an above 500 team without LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but I think they'll win enough to keep in the top 6 of the playoff standings so that when they come back, they'll be all right. The Lakers do need to avoid playing in the play-in games because they've just played too much basketball. They need to avoid playing that type of stuff because we've just played too much basketball games, and that'll be too much stress on both LeBron James and Anthony Davis to kind of come back to that. Like, hey, this is a must-win game now. You got to, like, step up.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost 10 games in a row. I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up winning 5 games in a row randomly. They have a very, very tough schedule, but at the same time, defense, hustle points. Sorry, my camera just froze, but
yeah, like you said, this team is a team that's going to rely on its defense to kind of keep them in games. And they are a top 5 defensive team without Anthony Davis playing basketball. And I think they can at least still be a top 10 with both of them being out.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be very interesting. It'll be. I mean, we'll find out a lot about the rest of the roster.
Yeah, we will. And also, I think we'll find out a lot about LeBron over the next like 6 months in terms of like where his career is going to go. Because before the injury, I'm thinking, yo, this dude is on the pace where he could play the 40. But we saw how even Daniel, Lakers fans, y'all know, we saw Kobe rack up some injuries, lower extremity injuries, and then something major happened. So I still am of the belief you guys got a ring. I know you guys are used to going back-to-back, but I don't think going back-to-back is worth you sacrificing the future for. And I think AD is the future. I think LeBron at this point in time is still the future for 3 years if properly utilized. So that's just my opinion on the person. But I don't think you're going to miss the playoffs or nothing. If y'all miss the playoffs, I think it's only because you all sold Schroeder and you sold Trez, and you're just going to figure it out, try to see if we can get some picks, and then come back next year, retool, and figure it out from there. Because also, I don't even know what this free agent class of 2021 looks like. It's deep.
Decent. Lowry is there. A guy like John Collins, Lowry marketing will be there. Kyle
Nobody
Lowry
cares about no damn Lowry marketing.
Lowry.
Victor Oladipo, Lonzo Ball, Andre Drummond.
That's going to be funny if they wind up signing Lonzo Ball back.
DeMar DeRozan is a guy who may be out there. LaMarcus Aldridge is a guy who may be out there. Like, this class is decent. Dragic will be out there. Kawhi. We don't know what happens with Kawhi. Kawhi is really the biggest name in this free agent class. Does Kawhi stay with the Clippers? He's probably going to decline his player option, so he could leave. Everybody just is not talking about that, but Kawhi could leave this summer. Like, that can happen,
especially if they don't make the Western Conference Finals again.
He can leave. They locked up PG, so they did do one good thing by making sure they locked up one guy. PG is locked up and he's there. But Kawhi can leave. He can dip. So there's a couple guys this summer.
But it would be funny if Lonzo does come back. We don't have the money for him yet, but there are ways they probably could like get the money or trade for him now. But I would love Lonzo to come back home, but that's just not going to happen. There are whispers, rumors that he wants to go to the Clippers, that he's, I don't know, for the reason, tired of being in New Orleans, even though I love the fit with Zion and Ingram with him. But I don't know.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's very cool.
He's tired of being in New Orleans because they've turned him into a 3-and-D wing player, and he wants to still be the point guard. They gave Bledsoe the reins as the point guard, which was stupid.
They gave Zion really the reins as the point guard now.
Yeah, but it's really like Zion, then Bledsoe, then Lonzo. And originally last year, at least under Gentry, it was Lonzo. And I don't get me wrong. I think Lonzo has thrived in this role, but I think now that he's thrived in this role, I believe that he
wants more.
I think he wants more, and he's ready to take that step. Now that he's finally figured out his free throws, he's finally figured out the 3-point range from being out of position. I think now when he gets back into position, he'll be a much better player, because I think a lot of the issues that we had around his game were offensively what he would be able to do when he was not making plays for other people. And now I don't think that's as much of a question. If he's open, he can hit a three. He's shooting, I think, above 40% from the 3-point line this year, even though he's still in. Let me see.
I think it was above 40 for like a month, but I don't think
Lonzo Ball is shooting. No, okay, hold on a minute. Lonzo Ball this year is shooting 38.5% from the 3-point line, which is still really incredible for him. Good. Still really good. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. But all right, Daniel, let's go ahead. Let's get ready to wrap this thing up, because I'm about to go and get my car and go get some food.
All right. Well, the Lakers play the Suns tonight. Don't expect anything crazy from them tonight. I expect the Suns and CP3 to kind of beat us soundly tonight.
Yeah.
But that's.
Yeah, I expect the Suns to win. If the Suns don't win tonight, I think that'll be very interesting. But I do think that you all better be prepared for hell as Lakers fans. Don't get mad at the guys that are now forced into roles that they are not accustomed to being at. That is not their role. So I hope Lakers fans don't become impatient with the process, because this is what happens when your star gets injured.
Yeah.
Or your stars with an S get injured.
Yeah.
Ask the Golden State Warriors. They're still trying to figure it out. And their fans have been relentless, which ultimately it's like, bro, what you want me to do? Klay Thompson fucking tore his ACL, then tore his Achilles. Kevin Durant tore his fucking Achilles in the finals, and we lost him.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? What more do you want from me? Literally. So so Lakers fans, relax. You'll be okay. I'm out.
Any final words, Fabby?
I mean, get ready. It's gonna be a ride.
And I'm excited to see Kuzma, THT, Trez, and Dennis. Like TPJ said, we can't expect them to do anything more than what they've been doing, and that's fine by me. I think they're all great players, and they do definitely look great when they're next to both LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Someone has to step up, though. I think that'll be Dennis. I think he'll actually show that he's worth $20 million, and I do think he will be.
By the way, that's just a wild ass statement. I think Dennis Schroeder is going to show he's worth $20 million. That is a wild statement.
I just think he's going to. He has the tools. He has the defensive savvy to kind of do it. It's just being consistent, limiting the turnovers, and kind of running this offense. We'll see if Vogel kind of has them run different kind of sets, because we were a very LeBron James initiated team. All the sets we ran were for LeBron James.
For LeBron, yeah.
And I think when Marc Gasol comes back, I think that will help everyone else, because Marc Gasol can pass the hell out of the ball. So we will look better as an offensive team when Marc Gasol comes back. And I think we'll be probably like winning games at like a 45% clip without both of those players. And that's all we need.
That's solid.
And yeah.
But I'm going to get out of here, because I'm about to go plaster myself to the bed again. So I'm going to holler at y'all.
All right. See you, Pappy. And this has been Daniel Beltz from King Watch LA. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on all the YouTube pages. Make sure you follow King Watch LA as well. This has been Daniel Beltz. We were all smacked today. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. See you guys.